Hey, hey! Oh yeah, Metal from Final Fantasy XIV. I really want to get these song names up on screen, but I forgot how to do that, so it's gonna take me some time to figure out. I know it's some kind of... you gotta make a scene with, like... not a scene, but like a source with the text and attach it to the chat bot. I don't know, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. But hey, this is gonna be a shorter stream, because I just wanna, you know, chat with y'all. Because Akumu's video just released. I wasn't hyper involved in it, and that was by choice. Akumu would share his script with me from time to time and ask for my opinions, and admittedly, I would just kind of be like, I would hold back, just being like, hey man, it's your script, right? It's your script, it's your video, I'm not gonna critique it too much, right? And also, I'm not a very good script writer, I have no experience with that, so that was another reason. But, yeah, I mean, it's a good video, except all the parts where I was talking. Those aren't very good, but... yeah. But, hey, hey. Well, you keep holding back, coward. It's not my place. I've got no horse in this race, really. Except for the... I would say my only real race is the fact that Peaches decided to go after Nyx and Jackie the way that she did. I won't talk too much about that, though. I just think it's hypocritical of her, considering all of this stuff, that she was like, oh, well, you guys are only, you know, apologizing and acknowledging the Skype chats because they were called out. It's like, yeah, but... you know, you just did the very same thing, right? And we'll go over those briefly. But for the most part, you know, we'll go over a couple of screenshots that have been gathered from recent events. You know, just from the last couple of days. It's funny because, like, all the big stuff happens, like, after my Friday streams, which is frustrating. But, whatever. Good vid, except I cringed every time the N-word was said in that one section. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The minute you critiqued them, you're already associated with them forever. True. Yeah, yesterday was very eventful. It was very chaotic. I was just like, holy shit. I'm never gonna beat these allegations that I am the one behind the FCK Twitter. I'm not. Though I can understand how people would get that idea. But I want to start off, obviously, with Peach's Twitter thread. Everyone knows about it already. I just wanted to give my 2 cents here. Somewhere where it can be heard, I suppose. But I'll just go through it. I'll run through it real quick. Let me just turn down the music a little bit. There we go. What a fucking day, yo. Yeah, agreed. I never even suspected it would be you. Oh, well, some people were. People were either thinking that it was like Akumu or it was me. Alright, let me get this. Someone stitched her thread together in a way that looks more cohesive. Hello! Hi. Hi. I'll try not to let this linger for too long, because I want to get through some of these, and whatever else people want me to talk about. And then we'll be done, because this isn't one of my normal stream days. Everything is just crazy right now? Yeah. Hang on, sorry, I'm messaging someone. I'm not really gonna go over the interactions between Leo and Akumu. That's Akumu's business. Sorry, what's a burner account? Brace for impact. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm only, like, very loosely involved in this. Alright, let me just move myself to the side, say hello to Error in the background. I'll eventually get an actual better, you know, an actual better background, but this was just a stand-in. But I saw a couple of interesting things, and I keep stalling because I keep forgetting that I actually need to bring up the background. There we go. It's a bit big. I apologize for that. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. So, obviously, I mean, I know it looks a bit wonky, but it's because it was the most cohesive, kind of condensed version. If y'all need, like, confirmation or something, I can just go to my Twitter real quick. Let's see. Oh boy. We could probably find her, Here we go. Alright, so yeah, just to prove that this thread is from her, you know. I mean, I guess we could just read it from here, huh? Alright, we'll just read it from here. Fuck it. Leo acts like a saint, yet he abuses his found family. I will say allegedly, just to give it the benefit of the doubt, because of course, what's come out about that is testimony. So, you know, I think a lot of that would have to be proven before I would just take it at face value. But can't be denied that the accusations were made. And I don't think it's fair that he just gets to ignore it and hide from it. One point, if you want to bring this up, of how harsh Leo and Peaches were to Spocter when they both had this in their back pocket. Well, it's hard to say how long Leo actually knew about this and the depth that it went to. But Peaches definitely. No, Femboy, we're not gonna say that, okay? I'd rather not, you know, make, like, inflammatory remarks like that. You're lucky I can't fucking delete comments right now. But it's funny, yeah, but I don't want people saying stuff like that in my streams. Like, even as a joke. Stop selling- I know, sorry. Listen, I'm getting distracted by chat. Alright, anyway, sorry. I'll just run through this real quick. Alright. Oh, hey, this song's playing again. Hold on. There we go. Alright, Hopeless Peaches says, and she said this yesterday. With an old server I used to be in coming to light, I had a third party look over the exports of the server to check what was in it due to my own memory issues. I don't know why she didn't just look into it herself, considering it was about, you know, considering she was involved in it, but I guess she was just too busy. About 4 years ago, at the start of 2020, I was invited to a friend-only server. Now, keep that in mind that she says friend-only. Alright. I wasn't very active in the server, but the people I asked to look over it did find instances of where I did speak in the server, and it made me very disappointed and disheartened with myself. Back in early mid-2020, I didn't filter myself and stay cognizant of the fact that I was in a public space, in where I made unfiltered NSFW jokes, as shown in the first 2 screenshots. My account is highlighted. So, she does us a huge favor by admitting, yes, this was her. So, she does us a favor by acknowledging that, yes, this was her, because we had somewhat anticipated that there was a chance that they would just try to be like, oh, that isn't me, that's fake, right? So, she did us a favor by just admitting it, that yes, this is her. But it's just Toasty talking about giving Peaches a virginity card. We need to know if you have had the epic sex, and Peaches says, I have, many times. There's a part where she says, I love it, draw their OCs with big boobs, ooh-woo. Hold up, do I see the cursed word? And unfortunately, we don't know who these deleted users are specifically. I do know that one of the deleted users in this Discord was Teddy. Teddy is one of these, but it's hard to know who's who here, specifically. How dare you draw me with big-ass titties? So those are 2 screenshots that she had. And she goes on to say, the messages that I feel the worst about are the second 2, where I was woken up at 8 a.m. by being pinged with what I've been let known was porn. I asked why it was sent, but didn't push on it either, though through forgetting or simply not thinking about it, given I had just woken up. So already she's trying to set this excuse of like, well, I was just waking up, there's no way I could have possibly known about the porn, and I was just not even, like, coherent so early in the morning at the ripe time of 8 a.m. Who could possibly be even, like, conscious, like, so early in the morning, right? But anyway, they say, at Toasty Vanilla, stop showing your hentai to us. And Mimi Diggs is here, who was 17 in these chats, by the way. And okay, I'll say that in a second, but she says, so much porn. Why? That's it. This is gonna expose you all. And apparently that's the instance that she feels the most ashamed about. That's the one that she feels the worst about out of all of this. She continues with, I should have pushed harder on this and conducted myself better. Since I realized in September of 2020 that the guy I was close to had groomed me, I realized I needed to be better and have an understanding on how to act in open spaces. It doesn't excuse it, though. In the 4 years since then, I've changed as a person. However, despite the fact... Jesus Christ! Ah! Thank you for the subscription, Soul Emeralds 18. God damn it. Why do I get jump scared by my own alerts? Fuck. Thank you. Thank you for the subscription. Hey, I'll catch up with comments in a second once I finish this. Alright, sorry, I'll restart. In the 4 years since then, I've changed as a person. However, despite the fact that looking back at these messages doesn't trigger any memories, I am still holding myself accountable for my actions in that server. For my past actions, I am deeply sorry. So, obviously, a few issues with this thread. Namely, this inconsistency right off the bat, where she starts by saying it's a friend-only server, but then says, shit. I gotta stop clicking on them. But then says, that her biggest failure was that she didn't filter herself and stay cognizant of the fact that she was in a public server, and I need to remind you that this was not, the Fruitcake Club was not a public server. It never was a public server. It was an invite-only server, a very exclusive server for for artists and for content creators, specifically people in the ACC community. That's redundant, sorry. The ACC. It's not the art commentary community. But yeah, so there's already an inconsistency here where she says it's a friend-only server, but then tries to make it out like it was a public server. The second thing is that how can she have no memories and no triggered memories of any of this? Despite the fact that she seems to know that it was 8 a.m. in the morning when she received these messages, and that it was just so early that she has no recollection of it, even though she knew exactly what time it was. I know that she had mentioned, like, oh, I just woke up. What's all this porn? I'm going back to sleep, right? I don't think there was any mention in there of it being 8 a.m., right? But, yeah. My third and most important thing, I mean, there's other things too, but I think the biggest issue I have with this thread is that she does not, at any point in this entire thread, mention that there were minors in the server that she knew were minors. There is no mention of that anywhere here. She's just like, oh, I just wasn't careful about my jokes in a public server. I should have been more careful and more aware of my actions, but she makes no mention of the fact that there were minors and that she was aware of the fact that there were minors. Nowhere in here. She does not want to mention that, even though she knows by this point, she is very aware of the fact that there were minors. Alright, let me catch up with some comments. Oh god, you guys have been talking a lot. But welcome, everybody. Welcome. Wasn't Nyx in jail in a similar situation? Would this be considered irony? Yes, so let me explain that a little bit for people who don't know. So there was a Skype chat between Camila Cuevas, Veer, her boyfriend at the time, Nyx the Shield, Jackie Animations, Crystal Flame, and a whole bunch of other moderators who were underage at the time. Veer was the one, you know, doing a lot of the grooming and making things sexual, like uncomfortably sexual in those chats a lot of the time. I won't go too deeply into it, but while every now and then Nyx and Jackie would say some kind of offhanded sexual joke or share a video with like a sex innuendo in it, they were never explicitly sexual towards any of these minors in the chat, but Hopeless Peaches still decided to go after them specifically because, well, they were around that and they said nothing and they were totally okay with it. Now, these Skype chats, I'm not going to sit here and say that they were okay because obviously they weren't, but they were from 2017, which is how long ago? About almost 7 years ago, I believe. 6 or 7 years ago at this point. Whereas these ones from the FCK were from 4 years ago. And Nyx and Jackie only made mention of these Skype chats on their Twitter and owned up to it when it was called out, which obviously isn't a good look. I don't expect everyone to just air out all dirty laundry that they've ever had, especially in private, just on the internet when they become a public figure. I think that's a really dumb expectation to have of people. But yeah, But Peaches really went on them to be like, well, if you're apologizing for something only after it's being called out, then it's not a genuine apology, and you're not sorry, you're just sorry for being caught. Well, Peaches, that's exactly what you're doing here, and that's what bothers me, right? So they can own up to their mistakes, and they can prove, like, just through their actions since then that they are doing better to be more responsible, and they've changed since then, but they're not allowed to change in your mind, but you can change in just 4 years from these actions, but other people can't possibly have changed in 6 to 7 years. I don't know. It's very inconsistent, and when I found out about these, I was like, oh, really? Oh, really? Alright, sorry, I'm trying to keep up here. She is trying to lie by omission. You would be right, Cassie. To try and obfuscate the actual damning information. And who knows, maybe... Rules for thee, not for me. Did you already cover Lip's most recent video? Who? Oh, Leo. No, that shit's like 3.5 hours long. That's way too long. And it's over somebody leaving a YouTube comment. Who cares? I think it's pretty funny on how she tried to go after Camilla and Nyx for the same thing that she did. Well, here's the thing, right? What Camilla and Veer did were objectively way worse than what Peaches did. There's no getting around that. I'm not gonna sit here and try to say, like, well, she did the exact same stuff that Camila Cuevas did. No, she really didn't. And in some regards, you can say that, well, the people in those old Skype chats were even younger than 15, 16, and 17, so that's way worse. You can make that argument too, right? Still... It should be... I mean, like, I've seen them go after people for way less, you know? I mean, just take Rosie, for example. Or Rosa Ray Ramsey, sorry. Rosa, I mean, it's starting to come out now that maybe she wasn't even a moderator in Rebecca Starlight's server. And they went after her a lot harder than they went after Nekopon, who was the actual predator, and Rebecca Starlight, who was the owner of the server, who was telling everybody to shut up about the Nekopon thing and not talk about it. Wait, I just joined. Can I get a TLDR? Akumu just put out a video about the FCK server leaks. So if you want more context, you can go and watch his video. I know it's like an hour long, but it'll give you the information that you need. I do want to clarify, and I've scoured, I've scoured that entire Discord server from top to bottom, from beginning to last. And I hadn't seen a singular instance of Peaches sharing NSFW images in that server. There were a couple of times where she kind of had these like flirty back and forths between her and another minor that was in the server, but I can't prove if she knew the minor's age at the time, because that minor wasn't someone like Slimmers or Teddy or some shit like that, right? So there were no instances of her like instigating an NSFW encounter. I think Techno confirmed Rosa was not a mod, and yet they keep pushing that narrative anyway, which is interesting. But yeah, so I want to say that, like, you know, while she did not actively participate in a lot of the sexual conversations or NSFW posting that was going on, there is no way that she was not aware of it and was totally okay with it. There's no way that she didn't know, right? Peaches is a troll shielder? I wouldn't say that. I don't think that she is a predator or a predator enabler or anything like that. I think she was just a dumb, stupid adult. Like, let me get my thoughts together for a second, alright? Because I don't hold the expectation, like, that mistakes people made in the past, they should be crucified for in the present. Especially if they have learned since then and aren't that person anymore. We are just operating on the same standards and expectations that they have set for other people. But if you want to know my opinion on it, I don't think anything Peaches did in that server was particularly bad. By my own personal standards. Not particularly heinous. I mean, the fact that she was aware of it and was permissive of it, or otherwise silent about it, is a problem. But you could argue that since then, she's learned to be more, you know, mindful of the severity of, you know, exposing minors to sexual things like that. my inclination, just based on my own core beliefs, is to give her the benefit of the doubt, like in a vacuum, and just be like, well, maybe she has learned from this, and maybe she isn't that person anymore. However, is that the same leniency and kindness that they would give to other people in these exact situations? No, not at all. Not a single iota. What do you guys... Yeah, I don't watch Leo's video, it's pointless. In the call with Techno, Nil clarifies that even if Rosa was a mod, Nekopan was a level 5 moderator, and Rebecca would take mod from Rosa a lot. Yeah, I heard a lot of that, where Rebecca was very vindictive and controlling, and she had gone after other people for criticizing Nekopan before that. So it makes perfect sense why Rosa was, like, either scared to do anything or was convinced not to do anything in that server. I just think it's disgusting how she acts considering her past. Yeah, I mean, so... And that's something else I want to talk about. So, like, if we were to give Peaches the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, so you didn't remember the FCK server, and the mention of it sparks no memories whatsoever. Okay. You can say that, sure. But if that's the case, and let me go look real quick, just to make sure I have these in order. Okay, well, I don't have a screenshot for this exactly, and this is the next one I'll cover in a second. But Akumu shows something interesting in his video towards the end, where he confronts Peaches back in, what was it, like 2022? He mentions the FCK server to her, directly to her. And she just said something like, oh, well, I have no memory. Well, actually, what was it again that she said? She said something like, oh, I was barely active in that server. So, I mean, in 2022, she seemed to have some memories of it. And when Akumu tried to press her further about it, she instantly dipped and did not want to address it or talk about it. Now, if I were in Peach's position, and I had no memories about being in a server, and I was being, you know, and if I had this reputation of being a predator hunter, and one of my closest companions was a predator hunter, and somebody came to me being like, hey, you were in a server 2 years ago that was having these sexual conversations with minors, do you want to comment on that? And I had no recollection of any of it, I'd want to go and look into it. I'd be like, I'd want to take care of it. I'd want to look into it. And I'd want to get ahead of it and try to figure out what was going on, even if I had no memory of it, and try to figure out if this was true or not. What she did was run away from it for another 2 years until now. So the idea that she just had no recollection of this whatsoever for the entire 4-year duration, and only just now found out about it and was, like, shell-shocked by her not-so-innocent behavior, I don't buy it. It's very hard to believe. In the end of Leo's video, he does mention Enla, Gilded, Kumo, and Akumu, trying to be all like, don't listen to these people. Does he actually mention me by name, or is he just, like, doing that thing that they always do, where they just say vague associations and whatnot? I wouldn't say... Okay, I would not say that she was very active. The people that were active the most were, like, obviously Toasty, Slimmers, Mimi Diggs, Teddy. Gosh, who else was really active in there? But I mean, out of everyone, I would say Peaches wasn't super active, although she did engage with them a lot in there. What's interesting about that, her saying that she has no recollection of any of that, is the fact that she had this interaction with Toasty Vanilla where she entered a VC in the FCK, and apparently Toasty was masturbating in the VC. And it was Like, I don't know how you would be able to forget something like that. That seems like something I would remember, you know? But, it's something I would remember about that person specifically, because how often does that happen to you, where you would just forget that that happened? But, I'm kind of all over the place right now, sorry. But, it's just a lot of, like, it's just a lot of stuff. But anyway, let me go over this. So this is from somebody who is a head moderator in the Senate currently, and this is a, I believe it was something that they said yesterday, regarding the FCK stuff, and of course this was before a majority, I think it was before a majority of the leaks came out, or it was, I mean, it's definitely before Akumu's video, because it was yesterday. Hold on, alright. With a screenshot of the member lists and such for your server and Kumo's. Oh, well, whatever. That's all they have is like, oh, you have Vlad, you have Gilded Poo in there, and he's a zoophile, even though no one has ever once tried to prove to me that he's a zoophile, but whatever. I got name dropped, and he shows your server that I'm in, and others like Kumo, and yeah, he's really just trying to capitalize on the guilt by association fallacy, if that's the case. Oh, I don't know. People have been telling me that they've been spying in my server for ages now. I don't fucking care. Alright? They don't need spies to come into my server. They can just come into my server. What do they think I'm gonna do? Just kick them out? No. Unless they are there specifically to cause trouble? No. But anyway, this was a statement from somebody in their server. From a moderator in the Senate, and they said they're trying to claim that the people in the FCK server were trigger. I thought this was funny. Trigger warning: mentions of NSFW around kids, slinging porn at a server full of minors. Okay, boss. Let me let you in on something. You're supposed to put the trigger warning at the beginning of the message, not in the middle of it. Just, you know, for future reference. And trying to claim that Leo knows and is just okay with it. Well, he did know for the last couple of months at the very least. The only proof that's actually shared is Madlib's testimony and a single image of Chibi Peaches getting her hair washed that someone claims to be Lolicon. The account sharing this has refused to share screenshots or any other proof so far because they need consent from Akumu, which is true. Because the FCK Leaks Twitter is running, obviously, with Akumu's permission. It's not Akumu directly, and I know that for a fact. But yeah, they need Akumu's permission to know what is okay to share now and what isn't. I'm assuming that they're probably going to start sharing a lot more now that this video is dropped. But yeah, if all Leo really has to say, I hope they don't raid my server. I'm not worried about that. It's a small server. What are they gonna do? Like, oh, they're gonna be mean for a little while? Like, whatever. I thought it was funny because the only thing they have is member lists. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, I mean, it's funny about that, right? If they want to claim, like, this person has, like, literal zoophiles, and, like, I saw this before that somebody, another mod in the Senate, was making this accusation that I have zoophiles and CP distributors in my server. And if that's the case, and if they were genuinely concerned about that, don't you think that they would, or somebody would reach out to me to let me know that, hey, you might have a CP distributor or a zoophile in your server. Here's the evidence to prove that they are what I claim that they are. What are you going to do about it? I will tell you right now, not a single person from the Senate or otherwise has ever approached me being like, you might have a predator or a zoophile in your server. Not a single person. So if that was something that they were so concerned about, don't you think that they would try approaching me with that concern? No, I've heard nothing of the sort. I don't think it's because they actually care if that were the case. They just need an excuse to write me and other people off. They're releasing all of the screenshots right now. Well, I hope they're properly censored. But yeah, I don't even know why this is an argument of theirs of like, Akuma was withholding this information. Why does it matter? There are pretty good reasons why he was withholding this information, and he went through those reasons in his TISM report videos that, you know, that were before this one, this big one that he just put out. Because the initial plan was to go to Leo about this and have him investigate this stuff. And Leo started to investigate it and ask questions about it, but then suspiciously stopped looking into it. And they no longer wanted to talk about it. And they started avoiding Akumu and just not wanting to address it whatsoever. It's been known. They knew about this. They just didn't want to talk about it. I know I said on Twitter after Leo mentioned me in the Senate that you said to me that they should contact you if that sounds like... I know what you're trying to say, though. They should contact you if they have proof. I clarified that in my thread. They're being goofy about it. Exactly. Okay, I can think of one time, very recently actually, where somebody came to me with a video being like, hey, there's a person in your server that is mentioned in this video to have had, like, a shady past. And I looked into it, and I did my research, and I concluded, just from my end, without giving a lot of information, that a lot of these associations of this person was like 10 years old information, and it's nothing to be worried about. But I've had no one come to me being like, this person is a predator, or this person is a zoophile. I've had nothing like that. I got to talking to Leo in his YouTube comments, and the second I mentioned something about Mint Heart or Peaches, he wrote it off immediately. It's so weird. Yeah. Mint Heart because he's no longer associated with Mint Heart anymore, or Jordan. And Peaches because he wants to defend her. Alright, so... Actually, hold on. Sorry, I'll keep looking at chat, sorry. Because, like, the other thing I wanted to talk about, or touch on briefly, was some of Leo's comments this morning about the Dreadful Jack situation. But I'll tackle that in a second. I have a feeling that Leo is doing something behind the scenes. I don't know if he is or isn't, and honestly, I can't bring myself to care all that much. I kind of have this mindset of whatever happens, it can be handled. And also, I have no real horse in this race, because me personally, and it's something that Kumo, Vlad, and I, and North have all talked about before, where I have no personal beef with them. I have no personal grudge with them. I have no reason to hate them, right? And I've said this before, but Peaches and Leo haven't done anything to wrong me. Like, there's a reason why Kumo, especially Kumo, is so vitriol toward them. I don't agree with everything Kumo does, especially the video he put out about the call. I didn't agree with how that was presented, and he knows that. But the reason that they are so, like, aggressive toward Peaches and Leo is because they were genuinely wronged by Peaches and Leo. They were lied about. You know, they had these traumatic experiences that were like exposed and twisted and made them look like a bad person. You sound like my mom. Sorry to hear it. Yeah, it's just it's a lot. But I have no reason to like hamper on about them. And like I've said from the very beginning, like from my very first stream, like talking about this to this point, like I've been saying every single step of the way that all I want for them is just to, you know, hold themselves to their own standards and stop with the predator hunting shit. That's it. I don't want them to be canceled. You know, if Peaches you know, if she wants to just leave this serious stuff behind, her words, and just go talking about art and media and stuff that she wants to, fine. I don't care. If they want to talk about small-time YouTuber drama that doesn't really matter in the long run, fine, they can do that too. I don't care. You know? It's when they start throwing around accusations of people being predators or zoophiles or predator and zoophile enablers, and throwing around these really, really, you know, blatant accusations about people, and also targeting people who, a lot of the time, are just ignorant instead of being malicious. Hey, I just saw Leo posted a new video, and what did he mention about Gilded Enlo? Just the typical, like, guilt by association fallacy of, like, look at the people that these people have in their server, they're bad, that means they're bad too, and that means you shouldn't listen to them because I say that they're bad. That's it. But again, I've never been approached by a single person trying to prove to me that for a fact there are any predators or zoophiles in my circle. None. Leo's recent video calls everyone here out for 3 minutes. Do you want to see it real quick? I guess I should, right? Well, thank you for giving me the timestamp, because the actual video is just insanely way too long, right? Alright, we'll go check it out real quick. You like my half Baldur's Gate recommended list? Okay. Leo Convoy.
Good morning, everyone.
I don't care. Don't sully the Dark Magician girl like that. She deserves better. Right at the end of her video, huh? Or his video, sorry. What was the timestamp again? Are you okay? Am I okay? I'm just a little bit tired. That's it. 3:04. Yeah, I might as well just take a look at it.
I always had respect for you, Susie.
Why does he sound so hurt? It sounds so tragic.
And I will have respect for you. I'm glad that you're doing better.
Well.
Again, hopefully we won't have to have this conversation again.
Yeah.
Take care, Patrick.
You too, Susie.
Sounds very amiable.
You heard where he gave his word that he'd stay out of stuff? And that he'd get in call with me if he violated that? Well, that didn't last long. See?
Yeah, but leaving a comment on a YouTube video isn't the same as getting involved. I know you guys think it is, but it's really not.
Ephraim was looking at a response to him that zoo porn enthusiast Gilded Poo made on him and saw Conundrum here trying to give the freak ammo against Ephraim. This was brought to Susie's attention as an irritation by Ephraim, who didn't know that Susie and Conundrum had.
Oh my god, this is... I've seen this, but, Patrick, you know what you promised, yeah? They don't owe you anything. Here's the thing, like, they always act like people owe you. Like, or, I'm sorry, they act like people owe them these things. Like, you gave your word. It's the fucking internet. I don't know what to tell you, man. People change their minds. Or, like I said, I don't think leaving a comment on a YouTube video is the same as getting involved. That's just letting your opinion be known. But this is a very common thing with them too, where they try to strong-arm people into never talking about these things again, especially people that they're dogpiling on, like Cosmic, for example, or even Faghost. I remember for like, hey, it's Cosmic, in the call that they were like, if you ever, I don't want to hear any of this, or your opinions on this, or your feelings about this situation come out of your big mouth ever again. Like, they hate it when they can't get the last word on something, and that really shows through their behavior. He used that bit against Cobra. Yeah, I mean, any goodwill, it seems like they'll find a way to use it against you. Didn't Peach's whole drama that traumatized her start because she left a YouTube comment on Toby's video? I know, right? It's just ridiculous. Alright, hang on.
Conundrum had an agreement. So, Susie called Conundrum on it,
I'm sorry, Leo, but your agreement is not legally binding.
and Conundrum completely wussed out, even wanting to bring Call Me Nil in to help defend himself. Yes, people, Conundrum, this 40-year-old grown man, wanted to use a person with brain damage as a shield. To keep score, this
I don't know, why use one person as a shield when you can use 50 plus people as shields, Leo?
means Conundrum is a bigger wuss than Keyblade. Let that sink in for a minute. Obviously, that's not going to pass mustard, so he is promptly told that the previous call was going to be made public. Now, he has no idea it went live on my channel, so I'm sure that'll be a fun surprise for him. He cited something else as an excuse to not get in call with me, and that would be the final call I had with Rosa Ray Ramsey. This is a call that happened over a year ago, and is only being brought up now because of freaks and dishonest actors, one of which just admitted that they did so for money. So here's the long and short of it, and it was addressed in full last year. The way that call devolved and the ableist, awful things I said and allowed was not okay.
Oh, well, this is interesting. Alright, hang on, let's back this up.
Money. So here's the long and short of it, and it was addressed in full last year. The way that call devolved...
Was it really addressed? Kumo DM'd me? Oh god, okay. Okay. Yeah, I saw his DM. Well, I mean, them saying that he wanted to use a person with brain damage as a shield is just like... Leo, you know it's just he wanted a neutral third party in the call as well, but whatever. Like Nil is adamant about being neutral on this whole thing. Like Nil he has this like very God, what's the word? Naive, like ideal thing of like he just wants everyone to get along. It's probably not going to happen, but whatever. But like he's trying his hardest to be neutral. And I imagine that Cobra wants a neutral third party in there to at least, you know, make sure that things stay civil. Which was apparently what Nil's role was, you know, in the Senate, but whatever. Leo says that Cobra is a bigger wuss than Keyblade, yet Leo himself refuses to really address anything. Well, it sounds like here he is actually addressing... Leo uses people's brain damage to his advantage all the time. It sounds... I mean, he kind of used it now to try and make Cobra sound like a worse person, right? Even though they were perfectly okay with using Nil and his brain damage in the past for their own means and then threw him away when it didn't matter anymore. But whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna hear what Leo says about this here.
Involved in the ableist, awful sort of it, and it was addressed in full last year.
I don't know why he says it was addressed in full last year when I can't find anywhere where it was addressed a year ago.
The way that call devolved and the ableist, awful things I said and allowed was not okay. It was not acceptable.
Okay.
It was wrong, and I apologize for that.
Alright. Fair enough. If he actually sticks to that, then I have no issue. Like, if he's gonna sit here, like... you know what? Whatever. I'll give him some leniency on that. If he's going to apologize... It doesn't sound like he's trying to mince words or make excuses for his behavior. Fair enough, right? If he's genuinely apologizing here and is actually trying to, you know, change that behavior, more power to him, right? It's not like we can't ask him to go back in the past and make it out like it never happened. Even, like, I'm not here to judge if his apology is genuine. That's not my place to assume whether it's genuine or not. I don't know. But you know, if I'm going to give other people a pass for making apologies like this, then I need to give him the same leniency. Although, actually, no. I won't move the goalpost. If he's going to apologize for it, I'll accept that. I mean, it's not my place to accept it, but I personally will accept it. Unless something happens in the future where he just proves that he's not learning and growing from that behavior and he's still doing the same shit, you know, and like giving more grace to whatever. Shush. Stop trying to suck my dick. I'm trying to be genuine here. Except I'm a little scatterbrained right now. What the fuck? There's 86. God damn it, you people. What are you doing here? Why are there 86 people here? Fuck off. I'm not used to this. Sorry. You notice he doesn't understand why it's bad for the Rosa call to happen. I mean, if he, like, it's like the last, 10 minutes of his 3-hour video. I'm not going to expect him to go on a whole deep dive about it or a whole analysis. Other people have already done that. If that's all he wants to address, it's fine by me. OMG, Enla famous? Nah. It's only because I'm talking about this shit.
I was in control of that room and that call at the time, so the responsibility is mine. The day after that call, Rosa was sent direct apologies, and the entire way we run calls was completely restructured.
I don't know if I believe that, because then after this, the hey, it's cosmic call happened at some point after this, which was kind of, that had almost the same tone, but use someone who can't represent themselves for clout, it's disgusting. Well, I don't know about that. I think Nil is perfectly capable of representing himself in terms of, like, internet stuff. Maybe not in a courtroom. He wouldn't be capable of representing himself. I don't know. If we're talking about Nil, that is. No, I'm probably not going to get famous. Once all this drama dies down and Peaches and Leo move on to doing other things, I'll probably just go back to, like, playing video games and yapping a lot. If you guys don't accept, okay, here's the thing, right? You don't have to accept his apology. You don't even have to believe it's genuine, but we can't deny that he did, in fact, apologize. Even if you don't think it's a very good one. That's all I'm trying to say here.
Such as the fact that the audience has no ability of their own to jump into a call, and any mockery of people over things they can't control are condemned and punished. Their purpose is to be as productive as possible. Longtime listeners will notice that the unpleasant language I used to have to censor out no longer exists in the past year's videos. That's because I worked to remove it from my lexicon.
You know what? Fair enough. If that's what he's trying to do, then fine. Whatever. I'm not gonna knock him for that if it's, if it stays consistent.
Takes time, as anything you've been doing for 3 decades may. But
3 decades? Oh, right, using slurs. I mean, it goes without saying that his not only his vocabulary, but his worldviews are pretty antiquated. So, he forgot the racial slurs. Whatever. I'm not out here about to pull the race card.
they're not words I've been using any further. Ponder herself called out that behavior directly in that call. She's still in Senate. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, and it's one I question every day.
Because change can happen. And has. The problem here, though, is that the people aren't interested in accountability. Not only because that was already taken care of a year ago, but also because they overlooked the fact that Rosa enabled a predator, and these people willfully overlook how that predator's victim, Indo, was affected not only by the lack of action, but even today by the willful weaponizing of this call.
Yeah, and the yapping over games, I look forward to it.
That's because the people just don't actually care, to the point that they're lying about Rosa's mod position in that server. Yes, she was a mod. Yes, she fully knew what happened. Not that it excuses how we acted, but lying about things isn't helping. I'll be transparent with my audience because I owe them that, but I won't be preached morality to by dishonest snakes that force kids to write their trauma, abuse their partner, or are zoo and pedo apologists.
Wait, okay, hold on.
It's because I owe them that, but I won't be preached morality to by dishonest snakes that force kids to write their trauma.
Who force kids to write their trauma? What are you talking about? Who forced a kid to write their trauma? What is he talking about? Does anyone know what he's referring to here? I hate when he does this vague shit. Like, you don't have a reason to be vague. If you feel justified in saying the things that you're saying, then you don't have to be vague. If you are confident 100% in the stuff that you're saying about other people is true, then you don't have to be vague. You can just say it. You can say who they are and what they're saying and why they're saying it. You don't have to be vague about it, Leo. Someone gave me a TLDR? Oh boy. Probably Kumo's interview. Yeah, but Jordan's not... Nobody he's interviewed are children. Because he's specifically saying that that they forced a child to write their trauma. Ah, yes, calling people who called you out pedo apologists totes shows... Well, in fairness, he's saying that that he's not saying that they are, like, the people criticizing him for his actions are pedo apologists, and he's trying to, like, you know, what's the word? Fuck. I'm forgetting a lot of words today. My dementia's kicking in. To discredit people who are just criticizing him. He's trying to discredit people who he thinks are lying about certain things. And like I said, I mean, people are starting to say that Rosa was never a mod. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. I don't know, because I wasn't there. But I'm willing to bet that, yes, she was a mod. Otherwise, it wouldn't have exploded as volatilely. I don't know if that's a word, but as volatile as it did. Ah, yes, be transparent with my audience, then tell us what happened to your children, Leo. Yeah, I mean, in a normal circumstance, I'd be like, he's not obligated to disclose his private business, like, with a public audience, except for the fact that he very frequently used the fact that he was, that he had adopted these kids, or not these kids, but he had adopted these people as a way to make himself sound better in a public sense. So the fact that he's trying to now hide it privately, when he was very boastful about it before publicly, it's very telling. It's the ACC memory issue disease. You're catching it. Oh god, I have such a fear of dementia, man. It runs in my mom's side of the family, so I'm like almost a little bit paranoid of it. It's not clear she even had permission to ban people. Yeah. Alright, so we have no idea what he's talking about. Oh, maybe with the Jelly and Miles situation? Oh, maybe. Hold on.
But I won't be preached morality to by dishonest snakes that force kids to write their trauma.
Who forced kids to write their trauma? Dementia's horrifying, I agree. It might be in reference to the Jelly situation, but who's forcing them to write their trauma? But anyway, you know what? We'll move past this point. We don't know what he's talking about.
Abuse their partner, or...
That one's Zay. Allegedly, Leo, allegedly.
Are zoo and pedo apologists.
Yeah, and that one is just Vlad, I'm pretty sure. And me, I guess.
That isn't going to happen. I'll give you a good example of the dishonest nature of these creeps. This is Kato, a new obsessor that's been attempting to hound me.
Oh, Kato's an obsessor! Great. Everyone who criticizes them are obsessed. We know, Leo, we know.
On socials because ableist language isn't okay. You know what, Kato? I agree. So I'd love to know why you care if I said something like that.
It's the Shape Shack! We made it, boys. It's the Shape Shack. Oh no, people use the word retard in my server? Oh no, so bad. I use the word retard in my regular vocabulary. I say it on stream all the time. I've never had an issue with it. Maybe sometimes I censored myself for optics games. But I don't care, Leo. I don't care. There are words that I absolutely don't want to allow in my server, but retard is not one of them.
Year ago, but actively conspire in another server that regularly uses that word in front of you with no...
Yo, it's me! Yo, let's go.
Protest. They're not the only freak in this.
Now, hold on. She has protested that. Let's make something very, very fucking clear. I've seen Kato in the server disagreeing with the use of the word. And Kato can back me up on that. I've seen you have discussions with people in the server about why you personally don't think that word is okay and why you don't use it. So you have had pushback on us using that word. Ableist Enla. Hey. I never said that I was better than that. It's just that he was always pushing the idea that he was better than that. Kata was consistent in that she doesn't approve of you using retard, but knows we don't use retard to disabled people. Unless it's... unless it's me or North. Yeah, it's almost like people in my Discord all disagree on stuff. Again, it's just more guilt by association. Do you know how many times I've had to censor Villanilla for, like, the stuff that she says in my server? God damn. How do you think this makes him look good? It's digging up random words. I don't know. I don't really mind it. I just think it's funny.
Server that regularly uses that word in front of you with no protest.
Yeah, he says no protest. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. But he wouldn't know that because he only has cherry-picked screenshots. Also, I'm just out of curiosity. How many times has the word retard been used in my server? Only 106? That's not bad, guys. That's not bad. We're still below 200. That's not bad. Don't try to raise that number though. It's not a game.
Conspire in another server that regularly uses that word in front of you with no protest.
Yeah, how come we're not allowed to reclaim the word retard? How come black people are allowed to reclaim the N-word, but we're not allowed to reclaim retard? Interesting.
Test. They're not the only freak in this server, though. This server is owned by someone named In-Law, a person
Hey!
that initially came on the scene because they got upsetty spaghetti that Peaches called out the gross actions of Nyx and Jackie in the Glitch Tail
Oh my god, I'm smiling so hard. I did get upsetty spaghetti.
chats. Truly the best of priorities. Her server has such
That was what was going on at the time.
hits as Carve My Name Into Your Thigh, Girl, and Fox Mafia associate Kumo.
Well, God, they're still going on about that, are they?
Zoop has Carve My Name Into Your Thigh, Girl,
Hang on,
the
hang on.
best of priorities.
I like how he says my name. Actually, no, I take that back. I hate how he says my name. But, to be fair, I purposefully say his name wrong, so we're on even footing on that part. And law. That's the first time that they've dropped my name. That's hilarious.
Her server has such hits as Carve My Name Into Your Thigh, Girl, and Fox Mafia associate Kumo.
Fox Mafia associate, as if they regularly associate with the Fox Mafia and aren't at constant odds with them all the time. And law.
Zoo porn enthusiast, Gilded Poo.
Zoo porn enthusiast. Oh my god, they're never gonna drop that, are they? He doesn't even have the hard drive anymore.
Former Fox Mafia member North, and hanging out in Kumo's server with In-Law is the latest false accusation supreme himself, Akumu.
So now he's saying they're false accusations. What happened to taking accountability, guys? You can't take accountability and apologize for your actions while also saying the accusations are false. I don't know what to say, guys.
We'll get into him later. You know who else is in In-Law's server?
In-law! I can't get over it, that's funny.
Conundrum. Nice company he keeps. What, did you think we wouldn't know? One of the longtime members of that server came to us.
That was never a surprise to us, Leo. We've known for forever that you guys have spies in our servers. We just don't care.
The moment these freaks started joining to tell us what's going on. These people care so little about victims of predation that they'll release a call some fool gave them that he had no permission to do, completely disregarding the victim's wish.
How do you pronounce your name? Just Enla. Just Enla. I just think it's funny that he says Enla.
Just because they care so very much about what's right. Now, let me address the Akumu comment. I'm not going to deny that Akumu was done wrong in the past by ArtCC people. If he wants to address that, he can. Specifically some comments made to him by Miss Zizi. However, I draw the line at...
Oh, just some comments, but he's not gonna specify what those comments were. Let me just give you guys a refresher. Hang on, what did he say again?
Can. I that Akumu was done wrong in the past by ArtCC people. If he wants to address that, he can. Specifically some comments made to him by Miss Zizi.
Oh, just some comments made to him by Ms. Zizi. But let me give you guys a little refresher. Those little silly little comments that he's referring to was when Ms. Zizi was spamming in Akumu's YouTube videos, talking about underage, like some kind of underage incest roleplay that she was spamming in his YouTube comments when he was 16 years old. Those are the silly little comments that he's referring to, but he won't mention them because he doesn't want to make one of his mutuals look bad. Just some comments, just some little silly little comments, just some mean things. This makes me feel interested in joining the Shape Shack. There's really not much that goes on in there. Just people ranting about drama. That's basically it.
However, I draw the line at lying. There's a reason he's
You draw the line at lying, but you can lie as much as you want to, Leo. Alright.
not going to release the FCK logs until after the video drops.
Yeah, that's usually how it works, Leo.
It gives him control of the narrative. We, however, had a longtime server member give us access to the logs that Akumu will not release. Logs I asked him for months ago, by the way, that he
no longer trusted you with, and that's why he didn't give them to you.
refused to give. Not only to me, but to other adults who asked. Now, I know some of my audience are minors, which is why I'm not going to release the logs here because there's porn in there. He's going to try to use cherry-picked examples to try to frame it as Peaches being okay with degeneracy being shown to kids. So here's the most troublesome stuff.
Well, she was for a while. She may not be okay with that anymore, but you can't deny the fact that she was okay with it at the time.
Stuff that happened in there concerning Peaches. Here we have Peaches making a joke about the KKK. This is not a joke specifically making fun of a race, just a throwaway joke about the group itself. Literally just milquetoast dark humor. It's also of note that this was 4 years ago.
Yeah, but what about the Skype chats that were 6 to 7 years ago, Leo?
All of this was. Here we see Peaches responding to Fuchsia Butters and Miss...
You can't use the "that was 4 years ago, that was X amount of years ago, it no longer is an issue." When you've gone after people for stuff that was way older, you can't use that argument anymore.
Easy spamming porn in the server, wherein Peaches made a joke about it. Now, there's some context here that needs to be highlighted, and that's the fact that Peaches was groomed for 7 years.
So, what does that got to do with this? What does that got to do with
This
this?
all happened, they were still being manipulated by said groomer. So even if Peaches was 100% aware that there were kids in the server, which personally I doubt, this is something Peaches had normalized by their groomer.
Okay, then let me ask you a question. If we want to say that, well, she was being groomed at the time, so that gives her a plausible reason for her actions, fair enough. I'm not going to try and deny that. But I'll pose a question to you. How do you know that Rosa wasn't being groomed at the time? How do you know that Nyx or Jackie weren't being groomed at the time? How do you know that Camila Cuevas wasn't being groomed at the time? How do you know that Hey It's Cosmic wasn't being groomed at the time? That they were okay with these chats happening that they're involved in? How do you make this assumption about Peaches just because you know her and you like her, but anyone else's excuses for why they didn't act on something is just completely thrown out the window? That's my question to you.
Peaches didn't even know any of what that creep was doing was suspicious until Cosmodor got called out later that year.
Alright, so this is... Obviously, it's in the Senate. 10... I mean, I know that she did mention that in her I Was Groomed video. I can tell a true story. I only realized my best friend in the whole world groomed me because of the Cosmodor situation. Oh, I know that. Well, this is not about the FCK. This is about her groomer, right?
Personally, I doubt. This is something Peaches had normalized by their groomer. Peaches didn't even know any of what that creep was doing was suspicious.
Okay, for a second I thought he was referring to Toasty.
Until Cosmodor got called out later that year. That being said, this isn't something they've repeated and have also disavowed. I think I've made it clear that I'm always going to keep nuance in mind when dealing with stuff like
Yeah, but they've already set the the standard that you don't have to, like, repeat something in order to still be condemned for it. So, you know, I'm sorry, guys. We're just holding you to the same standards that you held other people to. Man, you should have started earlier. I have to go. Well, I had to wait for Akumu's video to be done. I wanted to be nice. It's out of context, literally Vosh level defense. Well, yeah, these particular screenshots, for the most part, are out of context. But, like, I find it funny that he addresses these very specific ones instead of, you know, waiting to see what else came to light. Because if they want to try and make it out like, oh, this was the worst stuff in the server that Peaches was a part of, it's not. But maybe they should have waited for Akumu's video to be out or for more information to be out before pressing the panic button, I guess you could say.
Like this, if it was Peaches sending porn to children or speaking to them sexually like Nyx and Jackie, we'd be having a different conversation. But that's not what happened. And also of note that
And he's right, that really didn't happen. Like I said earlier, there was maybe one instance of Peaches having a slightly flirty conversation with someone who was underage, but again, can't be confirmed that that she knew the person was underage. But again, I failed to see any instances, and maybe I'm just forgetting because it's been a while since I've covered the Nyx and Jackie stuff. But I don't recall seeing anywhere where they were, you know, having explicitly sexual conversations with children, like the way Veer was having with them. Or like anything beyond slight sexual innuendos. Shows no evidence or clarification of how it's out of context. You're right. He doesn't actually show his reasoning. He just says they're out of context and then leaves it at that.
People like Akumu surround themselves
without providing the actual context.
Are constantly trying to deny that Peaches was groomed.
This is not a way to say that she wasn't groomed, Leo. It's just a way to demonstrate that she might have plagiarized some of her video and her performative nature in the video.
Not only is this gross and reprehensible, but it's also just an outright lie. I've seen the logs. Here are some now. Here's one where her groomer talks about how not a pedo he is and how he has to word himself in a certain way because Big Brother is watching.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is between Peach's groomer and Peaches. So I'm assuming the purple is Peaches. Okay. So I'm also not real sure that was a smart... When is this conversation happening? I have no idea when this conversation is happening. It just says Facebook user. There's no other identifiable information here, and I don't see any dates. So this could literally be between two people about anything. I'll just take it with a grain of salt and assume that this is from Peach's groomer. So we'll just read it as it is. I'm also not real sure that there was a smart... I'm not real sure that was a smart thing to say. I don't know what he's referring to, but given that we are communicating through Facebook, Big Brother is watching, and I don't want to look like a creeper. Smiley face, I know you're not. Or is that a winky face? I can't tell. I don't have my glasses. And trust me, I keep my wits about me with that sort of thing. Yeah, but Big Brother might think I'm a freaking pedo or something. I cannot make it any clearer that I am not. By the way, I'm using Big Brother as a euphemism for the government. Okay. Alright, weirdo.
Along with noting the clear age gap. I'm not going to...
I think I kind of like you, but there is a significant age gap and distance. And, well, the internet, I'm just being honest. Don't take that the wrong way either. I'm no creep. I know you're no creep. Sorry, I don't know how to react right now. I've never been told that before. Ugh, yeah.
Show the rest. I don't need to. I think I've made my point. What I find interesting, though, is no one looked into fuchsia butters until all of this came out. The third party that
including you
scanned through these logs literally just hopped into her server and find all sorts of garbage in under 5 minutes, which is a problem since there's minors in that server and no regulation about what's posted around them by Fuchsia herself. This is because Akumu is more interested in smearing someone than properly dealing with actual guilty parties.
Yeah, because it's none of his business to deal with it. And also, I'm pretty sure he was still 16 or 17 at the time.
Toasty Vanilla was the person in charge of that server and gave no rules or safeguards to protect children in that server.
But Toasty was also freshly 18. Like, he was not, like, at that point, he wasn't a minor that long ago.
I'd love to see accountability directed towards him, please.
Yeah, he was being a dumb coomer. We all knew that. There's not much you can say other than, yeah, he was being a sex pest. And he was being heavily irresponsible. Like, the entire video Akumu put out is showcasing a lot of Toasty's behavior along with everyone else. So, yeah, we are throwing accountability to Toasty as well, but he is not the main person that is responsible. He's not the main person that is responsible for this, considering that we're people all around him that were enabling that behavior. So, what, are they just predator enablers too?
And Fuchsia, you and I are going to need to have a conversation.
Fuchsia, I don't know anything about you. I don't even know if you're watching this. I don't particularly like your behavior that you had, but don't have a conversation with Leo. He does not have your best interest in mind. I'm not your lawyer, but yeah, I would say you don't have to answer that.
You'll know where to find me. But a single example may not be enough to convince people of Akumu's smearing attempts being an obvious ploy. So here's another one. Akumu has been regularly spreading an RP Susie did when they were a couple of months past 18. An RP Susie herself did not make sexual, but the other party did.
Wait, okay.
Ploy. So here's another one. Akumu has been regularly spreading an RP Susie did when they were a couple of months past 18.
And this is Doodle Tones, by the way.
An RP Susie herself did not make sexual, but the other party did. In doing her research to properly address...
I've seen the chats. Yes, Susie was involved in making that engagement sexual. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. But I've said this in my Friday stream, okay? I've said this in my Friday stream in terms of that RP. I don't personally hold Susie accountable for that. And also, it's funny that Leo mentions, like, he brings up the fact that Susie was barely 18, was just a few months 18, as if to try and insinuate that he doesn't have to be, or that Susie doesn't have to be responsible for that. Because of the fact that they were just barely 18. But so was Toasty! Toasty was also barely 18 at the time. So, again, I don't know what to tell you.
This yet again, Susie delved into her old logs and found out she had been groomed. I was there. I saw how she responded to it in real time. It's an awful thing to discover, but it explains some of her more troublesome thought processes and interests for several years. Akumu's response to that level of honesty is to claim she's using her being groomed as a shield and that she's just trying to paint anyone that questions her as...
Yeah, and I don't agree with Akumu's level of beef with them. Like, it's not my horse, it's not my race when it comes to all the Doodle Tone stuff. So for the most part, I stay out of it.
as a victim blamer. If you sat through that whole video and came to that conclusion, you're just a dishonest moron.
You're not
Now,
the dishonest. It's too bad we're not playing bingo right now.
Things that will probably need to be addressed as well at a later date.
Probably? What do you mean probably? Things that should definitely be addressed, Leo.
For now, though, I have other things I need to do. I'm not obligated to defend myself at the behest of others.
Yes, but other people are obligated to defend themselves to you, otherwise they're guilty. Okay, Leo.
I will do so when I please. And as such, I've got work to do. Thank you all for your
I've got more models to build.
time and watching this very long video. Please give Susie your support and let me know what you think.
Alright, anyway, that was interesting. Yeah, but I don't give a shit about spies in the server, alright? Quick, get the bingo card? Nah, it's already over. I know Kumo's more paranoid about that than I am. And when I say paranoid, I mean that in, like, the kindest way possible. I'm just not. As long as, you know, people behave themselves, it's really not a fucking issue. The toys he buys are ugly. Well, she's kind of cute. But, yeah, it's just the... Can we get a bingo from this 10-minute segment? Probably not. And also, I don't want to have to listen to it again. No. Oh my god. Guys, stop saying... Oh my god. You're lucky I have no one here to delete comments right now. And I can't do it myself right now. We make sure they have job security. Ugh, God. What a trip the last couple of days have been, right, guys? I hate that he really thinks I never said I don't like it in this video. He's so goofy. Yeah. Like, all they would have to do is, like, go through your message history. Like, in the server. And, like, you had that discussion pretty recently. But yeah, speaking of Leo, what's he say? He draws the line at lying. Let's go into that a little bit, because this is the last thing I wanted to talk about today. Oh, also, I just saw this because I thought it was funny. My videos are monetized so that they're spread more. Okay. And that money goes to people who need help. Need citation on that one. Press X to doubt a little bit. But... let's see. Yeah, okay, here we go. So, I noticed that during this, premiere... When's the next Storytime stream? Probably will be on Friday. I doubt anything more, that's, like, interesting is gonna be happening from all this. Yeah, I think we all need a break from drama for a while. This has been, a lot going on the last few days. That money goes to people who need it. Citation needed, evidence required. Yeah. Yeah, what needs help is his plastic addiction. But somebody who moderates on there, says, to clarify here, Leo did not dox a kid. Leo contacted Jax's school because of the child making threats against the school, which is absolutely not true. So these are the kind of things that his own moderators and the Senate believe about the situation, even though the video... The Dreadful Jax video is up there for all to see, and they can go back and review it themselves and see that not once did Dreadful Jax ever threaten to shoot up a school or make threats against the school or threats against anybody except Leo. And the only threats he was making to Leo was after Leo had already threatened to come to his house. Because that's exactly how it went, right? I mean, I almost know the beginning of this interaction word for word. Leo goes, Hi, I'm Leo. How old are you? Jax goes, 15. What, you think I'm fucking scared of you? Leo goes, no, but you should be. Jax goes, I should be. Give me a couple of examples. Leo goes, well, number one, I can figure out where a kid lives just from their photo. And, in response, Jax says something along the lines of, well, if you come to my house, I'll put a bullet in your fucking skull. So he wasn't threatening to shoot Leo, like, in that context, unprovoked. Or he wasn't even threatening to shoot up a school. He was threatening to use self-defense against Leo. Later on in that call, Leo says something like, you want me to come to your house? Okay, then that's what we're gonna do. Dead serious. And, at some point, he also said, like, if I wanted to ruin your life, I'll just call the school and tell them you made that threat. Right? Oh my god! Zach, he's a Leo maniac. Oh my god, I can't believe I got that reference. No, I don't think he doxed either. He did not dox Dreadful Jax. Doxing requires taking that personal information you would not have found otherwise and posting it publicly on the internet. He did not do that, though there was the risk of that happening, just based on his behavior. And the fact that they were boasting about just being able to find this information so easily. There was the risk that even if it wasn't from him, that somebody in his server could have felt the need to dox his information. That was definitely a risk factor in there. Lying requires intent. Oh my god, I cringe, man. I cringe. But yeah, this statement is false from one of his moderators. But then someone had been asking Leo directly about it, and he responded in this premiere by saying, it wasn't against the school, it was him talking about being in gangs and owning guns. So that is true, he was talking about how he had been in gangs and had owned guns. But that's not necessarily a crime, Leo. At least as... Hang on, you guys are getting ahead of me. As far as I know, I don't, like, it also, he could have just been fucking boasting, as any 15-year-old troll on the internet would do. The fact that he took that seriously at all just shows how hurt his ego was, because he was looking for any excuse. And he said in the call that his intention, like, hold on, we want to talk about lying involves intent. If we want to talk about intent, or how you can't discern intent unless somebody specifically says their intent, Leo said his intent during that call with Dreadful Jax. He said, I'm gonna ruin your life because you made dumb threats on the internet. He was very intentional about what he was planning to do, and then he did it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If he was under the genuine belief that this kid was gonna go and shoot up his school, or if there was a genuine risk of that happening, why didn't he call the local police and instead called his school? And left frustrated that she feels like she's experiencing secondhand gaslighting. Oh, nah, it doesn't feel that way. I just think he's being dumb. Right? Why didn't he call the police? And here's why I think he didn't call the police. I'm almost certain that he knew at the time of doing this that it was a lie. Because if he genuinely believed it, he would have called the police. Why would he call the school? And here's what I think. Because making false police reports, or reporting to the police with false information, knowing that it's false, and it could be proven that he knew that the accusations were false, he could be legally responsible for that if he brought it to the police and not to the school. He was expecting, and I'm probably banking on, the idea that the school would do his dirty work for him and call the police on this kid. Jax even said in his own video that the shit Leo pulled could have gotten Jax killed. Yeah, exactly. Vlad, you are late. But that's okay. I know you're sick right now. Yeah, I think he was banking on the idea that they would call the police for him. I think that's pretty insidious. And I still stand by the idea... What message... Oh my god, why are y'all trying to constantly message me? I don't see nothing in the messages. I don't see nothing in my DMs, Vlad. Enla, you didn't announce the stream? Well, I did announce that I was going to do it after Akumu's premiere, so in my eyes, that's good enough. So yeah, if he wants to go about this whole thing of lying involves intent, and you can't discern someone's intent unless they specifically say their intent, well, he did both of those things. Fuck, it's still sending? Oh, I see. Okay. I'll make your point. It'll make your point here. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know what this is, Vlad. What is this?
Dreadful Jax. You want to know what happened with him? He was pulled into call.
Okay, well, I guess if you guys needed to hear this again, this is the conversation that Leo had with someone named Pizza after the fact, like months after the fact. After this whole thing had happened between him and Dreadful Jax. And this is him, months later, justifying the whole situation and lying about what happened in that call. The call that you can find on Queen Seraphina's channel in full, and see everything that we've seen just as we've seen it. And like I said. And so this is the way that he recalls or describes the situation in hindsight.
Dreadful Jax. You want to know what happened with him? He was pulled into call independently, not given any roles, to try to get him to stop beefing with some other dumb kid. I hop in the call and Jax loses his mind, threatens to shoot me, threatens to do all this.
I will say that it is not Jax who lost his mind first. Leo's literally the one who hopped into the call, expected everyone to shut up simply because he made himself present. Seraphina's deleting things. It is definitely archived. Don't worry about that. So even if Queen Seraphina deletes it, it's archived already. It was not Dreadful Jax that lost his mind first. In fact, it was Leo that immediately escalated the situation. When he wasn't getting the respect that he thought he deserved just by being in the call and making himself known, he screams, "Jax, shut up!" out of nowhere. And then Jax goes, "Lio? Who the fuck's Lio?" Right? Because how is he supposed to know who Lio is? Right? And he gets offended by that. And that's, you know, it devolves into everything I had just talked about. Almost word for word. I might have gotten a word wrong here or there, but the beginning of that engagement is about like how I said it. So, yeah, so I'll let this play out. So already the way he's describing how it started is dishonest. And yeah, you can say that Jax threatened to shoot him, but the reason why he threatened to shoot him is because Leo had already threatened to find out where he lives and come to his house. And well, first he makes the insinuation that that's what he's gonna do, and then later he literally says that's what he's gonna do, and even says that he's dead serious. So, I don't know. Either he's lying about it after the fact, or he was lying about being dead serious. Either way, he lied. Can I also just add, I don't know why Leo says, well, number one, like, when Jax says, "Give me an example of why I should be afraid of you," Leo says, his first thing that he says is, "Yes, I can find out where a kid lives based on their photo." That is a very interesting superpower to have. It's a very interesting skill to have, and then I'm just left wondering, how did you master that skill exactly, Leo? Nobody just wakes up one day and is like, "Oh wow, I'm super good at finding out where kids live, specifically kids, where they live just through their photos." How do you have that skill, Leo? How did you cultivate that skill? Years of practice? Training? It's very interesting that you just have this innate talent, this very bizarre talent that not many people should have, to be painfully honest. But anyway, let's continue.
Hop in the call and Jax loses his mind, threatens to shoot me, threatens to do all this. Couldn't call his parents because they're deaf, which is why he gets away with this nonsense. So instead I called his school. Because as you know, Pizza, we live in the United States of America, where school shootings are pretty common. And the last thing I want is to have this idiot pop off his mouth about how he's been in gangs and how he's hurt people and how he has guns and do nothing, only to find out, the kid went psycho and killed people.
Yeah, so he says his reasoning for calling the school is because he felt so obligated to do it because he was worried that this kid was gonna shoot up his school, even though he made no insinuation to do that whatsoever. And so, yeah, we have that. But also something that, and Vlad shared this in my server, so I feel like I can share it here fine enough. Vlad, when they said that, yeah, Leo has already apologized to Dreadful Jax, Vlad went right to the source and asked Dreadful Jax himself about this. And yesterday, I think it was that or it was this morning. I don't remember. I think it was this morning. But he shows Dreadful Jax the screenshot. And Dreadful Jax says, he apologized recently, yeah. And Vlad says, where? May I see the apology? Dreadful Jax says, I didn't record it. I got his docs and called his number and I confronted him. So apparently, Jax got his phone number and used it to call him in order to confront him about this. And only then did Leo apparently apologize to him. It was this morning? Okay. I don't know the specifics about what he apologized for, or what was in the apology, or what have you. But my question is the apology genuine if he continues to lie about it? That's my question. Because if he is still continuing to lie about it, and misconstrue the facts of the situation, then is it a genuine apologize? Dude had to get called IRL to be forced to apologize. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me. You can get more? Alright. I'll wait. Jax also attempted to confront Leo in Senate and told Senate to... You mean like he told Senate to bully him? You saw it happen? Huh. I just got a, Oh yeah, okay. Crystal Flame actually sent me... this. Hold on. Said that my stream might like this. Okay. So, Crystal Flame contacted me and said that they wanted me to read this on stream. I assume. Because they said that your stream might like this. So, everybody give just a quick shout out to Crystal Flame. She is one of the main people that came out about the situation with Camila Cuevas and Veer grooming people. And without her, or without them, rather, the Skype logs that were revealed would not have been revealed. Which is why I find it annoying that Peaches would try to take credit for that later. Try to be like, when I forced it out of you, but whatever. Crystal saving your own... Are you saying she's saving my skin? Yeah, probably. Whatever. But, alright, so Crystal wrote this today. Today. Very recently. 11 minutes ago. Yeah, everybody say hi to Crystal. They're probably in here. So, Crystal and I obviously we don't agree on everything that happened. There's a lot of stuff I disagree on with Crystal about the way that the situation was handled. We spoke, like, way back in October, and back then, we had a very cordial conversation about how Crystal feels about all of this. And they were very candid with me, and very raw and open with me, and that's something I can appreciate. It frustrates me that it had to get this far, but whatever. No Crystal is saving themselves. I don't know about that. I'm not gonna make assumptions like that. I wanna give it the benefit of the doubt. So, Crystal Flame says, a recent revelation of Hopeless Peaches, a thread. Crystal says, I want to address the recent revelation regarding Hopeless Peaches. They have been banned from my community as well as any communities associated with me. This individual, whom I once trusted and admired, played a significant public role during the GT situation. That's the Glitch Tail situation. However, I have recently uncovered disturbing information that has shattered my perception of them entirely. I was the third party who Hopeless Peaches was talking about with the FCK chat. I conducted an impartial investigation into the matter. I confronted Hopeless Peaches directly, expressing my disappointment and labeling them a hypocrite. I believed there could be an opportunity for growth and learning, but they needed to face the music for their actions as I pushed for them to make a public statement, which they eventually did. Oh, so you were the third party that looked into it. Interesting. I'm wondering why she would like get you to do it or ask you to do it instead of just doing it herself, but whatever. It has been revealed that when Hopeless Peaches was 18 or 19 years old, she engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior and gatekeeping trauma with minors within the Glitchtail Amino community. Wait, what? It's been revealed Hopeless Peaches, she was engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior and gatekeeping trauma with minors within the Glitchtail Amino community. Sexual truth and dare games, an Undertale staple it seems, eh? Okay, so when did these happen? Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess you can infer that this was like, you know, around 2020. But I'm not seeing any dates here. Ask something. J.K. Lamau censored me. God, I can't read this. Sorry, I need to like have my thing is gonna spaz out for a second. Okay, alright. That little tag by this person's name, it does say level 14. I don't know if that means they are 14. Oh, but then again, Peaches is also level 14. I don't know anything. I don't know shit about Amino. Sorry. Oh, that first pic was being posted in the drama channel last night. Oh, I don't know. I think I might have seen something like this, but I was sleeping. I don't know, the gossip and drama channel just goes so fast I can't keep up with it anymore. Y'all talk way too much. Sorry, okay. Ask something spicy next time, lol. It's Peach's turn now. Face. For what, lol? I was gonna ask if she'd have sex with him in any manner, but that's classless. For you to ask someone truth or dare. Peaches says, no, I haven't done anything like that, Alex. Wait, what? I was gonna ask if she'd had sex with him in any manner, but that's classless. Hopeless. Sorry, Enla? Nah, you're fine. But you guys do talk too much. Maybe tone it down. No, I haven't done anything like that, Alex. And okay, Oh, is that it? Oh. So, I assume that this is testimony from somebody that was in that Amino conversation. So, take it with a grain of salt, guys. This is just testimony and a screenshot that could very well be out of context. Yeah, I agree with Vlad that there isn't a whole lot of context here. So, it does feel like that this is... Yeah, this is testimony. Alright. So, again, just take it with a grain of salt. Innocent until proven guilty, but we'll read it anyway. I understand. I mean, like, Nil, for example, he brings up all the time that the Gossip and Drama channel is, right now, it's very Senate/Leo related, which I can understand. And I know it's just you guys venting your frustrations, but to an outsider, I can understand how they would look at that and be like, well, that's just obsessive. But I get it. I'm getting to the point where I just can't keep up with that anymore, so I try to let you guys just do your own thing without me intervening too much. But as long as you guys behave yourselves overall and follow the rules of the Discord, I don't mind. Alright. And if you need to refresh yourself on the rules again, or if we need to adjust some rules, we can do that too. Alright, so this seems like testimony from somebody who was part of that Amino chat. Yeah. We were playing Truth or Dare, obviously. Blank, or I'll just call them Pink. There was an alt of a guy called Pink, a 15-year-old at that point, and Purple was 14. While we were playing the game, there were increasingly NSFW questions going around. So when a bland question was asked by Purple, a 14-year-old, Peaches said, ask something spicy next time. And then Pink asked if she had sex with her boyfriend. and she continued to participate in the blatantly obvious NSFW questions in a group chat with minors. There was another case of her involving herself in NSFW chats with minors when we were talking about women characters' breast sizes. Peaches decided to comment, "Yeah, I have a nice pair of tits myself," to the artist channel. Unfortunately, I was never able to find a screenshot I took of that, as I don't think I did. I mean, why would you just randomly take screenshots of every conversation you've ever had with people? I can understand that. But Yellow, now Joey, who was the curator of the chat, remembered it as well. Alright, so this seems like another test. Oh god, I wish I had some water right now. After this I might have to up and skedaddle for a second to get some water. Hello! Oh, you know what? This is actually gonna be a lot of reading, so I'm just gonna go grab water now. Sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got myself some water. I've been hearing about these Air Up things. Has anyone else been using these Air Up water bottles? Are they any good, if so? Alright. Oh god, this is incredibly, this is incredibly cut off. I apologize. Oh, you can't see the top. That sucks. Okay, well, sorry, the top part on the stream is cut off a little bit, but I'll just say what it says. You know, Peach is sending Fuda in the FCK server. Oh, I don't think she ever did that. Can I just get that out of the way? Like, again, I need to make it clear that Peach has never sent any NSFW pictures in the FCK. Nice horse sculpt. Fuck you! Fuck you, it's just a thin water bottle. Fuck you. Don't chew me out like that for being human. Nice horse sculpt! Oh my god, it just hit me. That's hilarious. Not gonna lie, this testimony screen cap thing is too weak. I understand. Again, it is pure testimony. Take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, no, and like I said, I scoured that Discord server top to bottom. I went searching by image. And let me tell you, there were a lot of NSFW images in that channel, like a lot. There were like 3,000 pages of just memes, and most of it being porn. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I could probably pull it up right now, to be honest. Because I'm still in the server. So if I were just to search for like an image. as image. Okay, it's not pages, but like... Just to give you an idea of how many images are in here. Half of them, like most of it being porn, but a lot of it also being memes. 5,563 results. Just for images in that server, so... And it wasn't a server that was active for, like, very long. It died off after, like, a year. This shit is why I screen cap everything. Fair enough, but I wouldn't expect people who were allegedly minors at the time to be doing that. Yeah, she was complicit in not speaking up about it, to be sure. But, yeah. Ratio of memes to porn. I'd say like 40% memes and 60% porn, if I were to give an estimate. In fact, me searching by image was how I found that baby Pokemon image. So yeah. Which was ironic since, you know, Fuchsia Butters was the one that posted that image. Anyway, sorry. We'll get back on track. I apologize. Alright. This is a testimony from someone named Yoko. Alright. I know the top part is cut off. But they say, "Hello, I'm Yoko, otherwise known in this video as Jewel. I'm going to be covering heavy topics here, so huge trigger warning for sexual assault, depression, and accusations." Okay? For a little background knowledge, this incident happened about 5 years ago when I was 10 or 11 years old. I was on the glitchtail Amino because that was one of my biggest interests at the time. It's another reason I don't really use Amino, because it's usually just plagued by kids. I don't understand how Amino works, I'm sorry. Like, it's just images, and then people have, like, chats on top of images. I'm like, what? Anyway, sorry. At my friend's birthday party, Oh. Oh my. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a little heavy. At my friend's birthday party, oh god. I don't even want to say this. You guys can read it for yourself, I guess, but I don't feel comfortable saying it. The incident had been building up inside of me, so way down on my Amino account's bio where I thought no one would see, I put it there. Just a small vent to make me feel better. It seems really dramatically written. I mean, they were 11, so I don't blame them. But I also have to remember when I was in the 5th grade, I had no idea what to do or who to tell. Fair enough. Isaac found it. I'm not sure how long after I wrote it. Initially, everything was fine. And then Isaac sent me screenshots of what Hopeless Peaches had said about me in a group chat. At this time, Hopeless Peaches was 19. She said I made sexual assault look like a joke because it's something that should be kept private. Like I was crying for attention, an 11-year-old, unsure of what they were doing, unsure of what just happened to them, on top of it still trying to process it. Made sexual assault look like a joke, all because I wrote it in my bio. What she said made me feel worse. I saw that people would think I lied, I couldn't tell anyone, I thought that I should just push it down, etc., etc. A part of me hated her, a part of me believed her, and on top of it, she tried to validate her words, to which I will never forgive. And that's very heavy. I will say, obviously, there's no proof for what they're saying. I can honestly believe it, just based on Peach's past and present behavior when it comes to people. I find it to be believable, but again, there is, you know, it is pure testimony. So, make of that what you will. So, that was, that. I'll read this part again that had the screenshots because it was a while. There's screenshot proof that Peaches said that in the drama chat. Oh, really? Where? You guys talk so much, so it's hard for me to, like, follow things. You say there's proof of this. I would very much like to see it. I gotta scroll down so much. Y'all talk too much. Fuck. Oh, what is this? Is this it? No, 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 no. That's something else entirely. Okay, I'm just gonna jump down to the bottom. Oh, I see. Okay, let me pull this up then. Glitchtail artists. Okay. Which one came first? Okay. So this is in a group called Glitchtail Artists. Someone, oh, Peaches says, Hopeless Peaches says, I'm sorry, but God, they need to speak to people privately. Someone says, wow, really, Peaches? Peaches says, whether it's true or not, they're making sexual abuse look like a joke, as it looks like a cry for attention. Okay. Will deserve this ban. Pika says Jewel is a nice person, so I hope they listen. Raiden says, okay, enough of this. And a lot of people are just saying, I'm not gonna get involved in this. Okay. Yeah. Alright then. I don't know what to say to that, to be honest. I got nothing to say. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on a lot of stuff. That does sound like Peaches. Although, so what does the testimony say again? She did say all of those. Yeah. It was, so here's what I'll say about that. If we're just going to go with my own personal thoughts on it, not applying any sort of moral standards to Peaches, and this is gonna sound like me coming to her defense a little bit, which it is. I'm just gonna say this, especially for, like, young adults who have, I mean, if she does have, like, autistic traits, oh gosh, this is like, there's a lot happening right now. So that was around, like, man, sorry, I'm like learning this in real time. Damn. Sorry. Fuck, I don't have my thoughts together right now. But I just want to say that, yeah, people can change and people can grow. And maybe she didn't mean it to be as awful as it came across. And like, you're stretching? No, I'm not. I'm trying to be honest. Okay? I'm trying here. I'm at a loss for words, that's all. Streamline Workshops, hey! Welcome to the stream. I don't know if you were talking earlier, maybe you were. Sorry, I've been like... this is outside of my normal stream days, so I'm like not with it today. Streamline Workshop says, the screenshots Omnia's posted backing up the victim's statements is disheartening. It's worth considering that this was years ago, but it would be nice for Peaches to acknowledge it. Well, what she needs to do is properly acknowledge these things. I agree with you. And yes, the fact that they did happen years ago plays a factor, especially because she was 18 to 19. I don't expect young adults to say the smartest things or to be like the most sensitive in these situations. Like, let me make this clear. The human brain, and maybe Vlad's gonna get annoyed that I'm talking like this, but I don't care. The human brain is fully developed at the age of 25. So a lot of the frontal lobe stuff, which is like long-term consequential thinking and decision-making, problem-solving, emotional regulation, a lot of those things are not completely developed until the age of 25. And so I don't expect people like when they're 18, 17, 18, 19 to be able to present themselves well, especially if they have this mindset that, like, you know, they're anonymous on the internet and anything they say won't be remembered, you know? I'm just kidding about the stretching, but the issue isn't whether or not it's good or bad, but rather whether or not she would hold you to that same standard. Oh yeah, exactly. Like, if you were going to ask me personally, what do you make of this? I would say that, yeah, it happened 5 years ago. Her opinions may have changed since then, and maybe she is more sensitive about people's traumatic experiences and how they deal with it today, right? My question would be, would she hold other people to those same standards? We've seen, you know, just in the past couple of months that no, she doesn't do that. It's more around 25, yeah. But yeah, 18 isn't going to have the best decision-making compared to an older adult, yeah. But anyway, I'll continue with Crystal Flame's Twitter statement. Crystal Flame continues, and I'll just read this part again. It has been revealed that when Hopeless Peach was 18 or 19 years old, she engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior and gatekeeping trauma with minors within the Glitchtail Amino community. I just want to say, like, the reason why I tend to go easier on people that are younger like this is because I wasn't very smart either around that time. I have autism, and so I tend to act like a couple of years, not a couple of years, but like 1 or 2 years younger than I really am. The way I would develop was in those plateaus and then those sudden jumps, and that's how autism develops in a lot of adults. I've made and said so many stupid things when I was around that age. Like, I went from being like a hardline Christian for like a year to trying to experiment with like my sexuality online, to becoming like an anti-SJW type for a couple years, and then kind of just becoming a lazy gamer. Like, I went through a lot of different phases, so I can't judge other people for having, essentially having skeletons in their closet when I feel like we all do to some capacity. And I think judging somebody for actions that they no longer stand by, that they've done in the past, is unfair. And it would be unfair of me to do the same to her, even if she's done that to other people. That's all I'm trying to say. Alright, sorry. We'll continue with this. Crystal Flame says, I want to emphasize that this behavior is completely unacceptable and represents a profound betrayal of my trust, as well as the trust of anyone who confided in Hopeless Peaches, shared their stories, or interacted with them in any capacity. To say that I and the fellow victims of the Glitchtail crew are deeply disgusted would be an understatement to say the very least, and I beg all of you to support them as much as you can, as I will be as well. It is important to understand that the only reason I and fellow members of the GTC interacted with Hopeless Peaches was because we were unaware of their actions. Had any of us been made aware beforehand, we would have never engaged with someone who posed a risk to children. A fear that lingers with us is that the GTC and the groomers associated with it exploit the situation as a gotcha against us. This thought fills us with dread, and I struggle to comprehend why Hopeless Peaches would ever put us in such a vulnerable position. And that's understandable. And I will just say this, that, like, Peaches becoming less credible does not inherently make Camila Cuevas or Veer, or even Jackson, Nikki, I keep fucking up their names, Nyx and Jackie to an extent, more credible in their separate drama, or their separate situation, right? I think it's good to keep those things separate. But I think it sheds a light on Peach's potential motive for pushing on those things so aggressively the way that she did. That's just the problem with the situation. People are upset she hasn't always acted to the same standards she held others to. Yeah, and that's always been my biggest issue with that. And honestly, like with people like Vlad, like Vlad and Vlad, when I say Vlad, I mean Gilded Poo. We disagree on so much. Anytime I listen to him talk, I'm just like, all right, Vlad, all right. And we honestly sometimes we get mad at each other and we argue with each other. And I've called a lot of his views outrageous, even, or even unreasonable to an extent. But we still have a certain respect for one another because we know that we're being honest with one another, even if we don't agree, right? I don't know why I brought up Vlad in that specifically, but yeah. Those hurt are valid to be angry, but those unrelated are more concerned with tone matching her recent behavior. And that's what I'm trying to not do. I do think it's fair to, like, they kind of have, like, two choices at this point with this stuff. Like, they either have to hold themselves to the standard that they've been holding other people, or they have to acknowledge that the standards that they've been holding others to is unreasonable, and they need to dial it back and start acting with more empathy for people in their own situation or things that they've experienced before. That's really their only two options. Like, I'm not sitting here wanting them to be canceled or crucified for their past actions or even for their present actions. It's never what I wanted. I can't speak for other people, but that's just me personally. Also, Enla, when I was, and like most people, 16 to 18, I didn't do even half of the shit that Peaches is being exposed for. I think most would agree with this. Yeah. Yeah. I still deny that I've ever said anything outrageous, but now isn't the time. Yeah, we've had this discussion before. Vlad is right, though. Like, even when we give grace, it's only to set a better example and demonstrate why Peach's black and white way of thinking. I mean, it's also that, but also it's to try and stop the cycle of, like, constantly accusing one another, right? Because this seems to be a consistent pattern where somebody will accuse another person, and then that person will be accused for things by other people, and then those things will be accused for things or called out for things by other people, and it just becomes this endless cycle. Like, people are always trying to find the next thing to, like, crucify somebody over in order to propel themselves, and I think it's frustrating. Sorry for coming late, but also how's the stream going? It's good. It's going on a little longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. Rules for me, but not for thee. Rules for thee, but not for me. Yeah. I'm sick of that cycle. Me too. I can understand where Enla's coming from, because I was also a bit of a wild one at 18 and rapidly bounced around views trying to figure out what I believed in. And I think that's how people, like, eventually find what their core beliefs are. Sometimes you do have to jump from one thing to the other. Like, you kind of have to bounce between, like, you know, these beliefs and that beliefs, and sometimes experiment here and there, or talk to people, or even argue with people to figure out what your core beliefs are. You take a little bit from here and there, and you search through it and find out what you believe in, right? And you're not, like, instead of, like, trying to just go by what other people are dictating is right or wrong. So that's all I'll say on that. Sorry, I wanna get back to this Twitter thread, because I feel like I keep getting distracted. I'm just gonna read the rest of this and then catch up with comments after this. Regrettably, due to the limitations of Amino and Hopeless Peaches deleting their account, most of the messages have been lost. That is a very common thing Peaches does, is that she will delete accounts and abandon them and hop to another one. However, based on the evidence I managed to gather, including confirming the authenticity of the chat and other users involved, as an ex-Amino creator / admin for Camila Cuevas, am confident that the allegations against them are true. Something I kept quiet for my well-being is that for the GTC situations and other AU connected to it, I was the one responsible for gathering all the evidence, collecting screenshots, and compiling everything, which I then provided to Hopeless Peaches for her video. With that being said, all they had to do was work on the script, while at the time the other victims, including myself, were truly grateful for their help. But now I want to create a complete disconnection between the GTC victims and Hopeless Peaches. Before, I was okay with Peaches and others taking credit for the work. I welcomed it as it allowed me to step away from the public eye, as I never did this for clout or attention. I even deleted my Twitter account as it made me feel disgusting growing from this. I can vouch from that. Crystal Flame had also deleted the Discord account that I had initially messaged them from. So they did kind of hold themselves to that for the most part. I didn't want to be known as the person dealing with such matters in a public light. I never wanted to be seen as a hero, nor grow from it. I just wanted to help victims behind closed doors to move past Camilla's inaction and the actions of the abusers, but here we are. To summarize this section, the content discussed with the GT videos remains valid and truthful. Peaches and other YouTubers collaborated closely with me in creating those videos. Therefore, despite the recent revelations, please understand that what has been said in those videos still holds true, as I basically fed them the information as I fed the information to them as I grew up in the GTC. People must start holding their friends to the same moral standards they preach. I agree. If anyone possesses further information or concerns relating to this matter, please reach out to me privately, as I want this to be over with for the victims of the GTC so they can fully disconnect from any connection to the Senate. And good on Crystal. It's always good to get out when you can, man. And we've been saying this for a while in the group chat, and we've been debating it in my server rather, that the Senate very much feels like a cult. I don't know if cult of personality is the right term to use, because that's usually for the North Korean dictators or things like that, great leaders or religious leaders. But it does feel very cultish, the way that they operate, or used to operate, even if they're trying to rebrand now. The damage done might be too little too late to try and fix, but yeah, I don't know. I gotta go eat? Yeah, I gotta go eat too soon. Alright, let me catch up with some things. And hypocritical shit and called someone autistic a retard. Hey, I won't knock them for that personally. I also call myself and North retards. I'll say like this or that thing is retarded. I don't mind the word as much as other people do, but that's just me. But if we were going to apply their own standards to themselves, then they would be, ableist trash. You know what I mean? So, like I said, they kind of have they're kind of at a crossroads right now where they have to decide whether they're going to double down or just take it on the chin and learn from this. Okay, sorry. I feel like you're creating your own community and way of doing things and breaking that cycle in some way, which is why we're all here and enjoy your vibe. Thanks. I don't like the pressure though. Anytime something like this explodes and I start getting more attention, I'm like, shit, man. I just wanna stop. There are days where I just want to delete the server, man. But the server itself means too much to me. I actually made the Shape Shack the same day I made my Discord account. So, it was always there. Not a cult, more like a hive mind? I don't know, it's hard to say, so maybe cult is not the right word either, but I would say it's cult-like. I think there's a difference. It's like how certain families can be cult-like in how they operate. To be honest, Peaches needs help, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Like, I feel like she needs to step away from the internet. I feel like she needs to step away too. But, no one can make her, Like, as much as the Senate like to think that they can make people stay away from the internet, or they can make people take a break from the internet, you can't truly make somebody, you know, unless by law they're required to, or unless by guardianship they're required to. Like, you can't stop somebody from being on the internet. And you can't fully, you know, cancel somebody or bully them off the internet. That's just unrealistic to expect someone to just, like, to mandate someone's self-care. Like, when you're starting to, like, I've had people do that to me in the past. They've tried to mandate my self-care. Like, I remember in boarding school, and this could be part of my story time, like, I remember in boarding school when I was starting to suffer really badly from depression because of the things that the school did to me. They gave me a self-help book and then said I was required to read it and made it like homework assignments. And that's not how you help somebody. You can't mandate somebody's self-help. They have to want to help themselves before they will allow someone to help them. So that's just frustrating. But I do agree that she needs to spend time off the internet, though I'd be lying if I said I cared if she did it or not, because she's an adult and she can make her own choices. And if she chooses to not do that for herself, then that is the choice that she makes. Right? She went through grooming and shit. She needs a therapist for the trauma and shit like that. I do think that she is seeing a therapist, maybe, but I don't know. So she got groomed. Is that an excuse to do bad shit to others then? No, not at all. And I don't think that's what they're trying to say either. At least I hope not. I'm a 90s kid. The word retard is just in my vocab, but I'll refrain around certain people. Yeah, I never use the word like in an actual hurtful sense, like to actually try and hurt somebody, you know? Like I'll call North a retard. I'll call myself a retard. But if I were to actually end up hurting his feelings, I would feel awful about it. There was that one time in the call where I said something like, "North, you and I are on the same level of intelligence, right? We are equally smart to one another. I just talk better than you." And then he ended up dipping from the call for like an unrelated reason. And I instantly thought it's because he was upset at me or that I upset him. And I was immediately like, "No, North, come back. I'm sorry. It was a compliment." So, yeah, it like I can understand like not wanting to use it in a intentionally demeaning way. But if someone were to tell me, like, "Hey, man, that word is really hurtful to me. Can you not call me that?" I'd totally respect that and be like, "Sure, whatever. I don't care that much." Stepped away from the internet because of school, you know? Yeah. To help you with your mental health, we're giving you even more homework. Demanding she get therapy just more so she very likely clearly needs that kind of thing. People can still wish, hope she learns... People can still wish or hope she leaves the internet. Or be deplatformed, but you're right. I know that's what you want, Kato, and I know why you want that. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's not right to think that way. It's just not what I personally am hoping or want. I don't need that. I don't want that. All I've wanted from the beginning was them to just stop this crusade that they're clearly not fit for. You know? Is she magic? So she got groomed, is she magically exempt from criticism? No, not at all. Gotta go back to work? Yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap this up soon. Because I don't have much else to say. Oof, Crystal Flame just DM'd me saying that they got banned from the Senate. Yeesh. Yeesh. Yikes. You are not me, I am not you. Yeah. That's kind of how we just operate, just in general, especially on my server, where it's like... each individual is their own person with their own beliefs. As long as you're not, like... Like, I have rules, obviously. It's not just no holds bars, but whatever. Yeah, that's how you know that they're sorry for their actions, is when they ban the person calling them out for it. Ain't nobody safe in these streets. What did Crystal Flame do? Well, we just read their tweet about how they banned Hopeless Peaches from their communities and don't want to associate with them anymore. And for that cardinal sin of not wanting anything to do with Hopeless Peaches anymore, they got banned from the Senate. Nobody's safe. Well, all right. Let me just I'll just put this away so we can just chat. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to talk about. No, it was the Dreadful Jack stuff and... Oh, that's right! Oh my god. Vlad said he was gonna send me, another... Let me just put myself down here for a second. Vlad said he was gonna send me another screen cap following up on this. So remember when I brought up this screenshot? When Vlad went directly to Dreadful Jax and asked him if it's true that Leo apologized to him? And he says yes, but only after he called him to confront him about it. Well, Vlad has more details about that he sent to me. Let me just pull that up real quick. And la jump scare. And la jump scare. Okay, so there's more to this conversation. So we ended off with this, the part where he says, and I confronted him, ask him yourself. Vlad says, I can't ask him, he blocked me everywhere. What exactly was the apology? Did he own it or make excuses? Both? And do you accept his apology? Dreadful Jack says, well, there was no justice involved. I want him to do it publicly instead of just to me, because people are still on to me for the whole thing, which is fair enough. He says he owned up to it, yeah, and he wasn't acting all strong like before. Probably because I have shit too now. I have his shit too now. Ooh. I don't like the idea of using people's doxes against them, but... Enla, I was wondering if I can say something really quickly. Yeah, you can say something if you want. Yeah, we reacted to the last couple minutes of his Cobra video because a lot of us got mentioned. And la. Like I said, I'm not too pressed about that. I just think it's funny. If Peaches decides to stay, I hope they finally reflect on how they've treated others now that their ire has been turned back on them. If we want to move forward as a community, we need empathy. I agree. I'm getting really tired of, like, people just being like, see, I knew you were a bad person. Get out of here, you know? It just, I'm sick of seeing that. She's probably not somebody I'd ever want to, like, turn around and be like, we're friends now, you know? But I'm not expecting them to get chased off the internet either. I feel like Enla has like that like autistic trigger I do when it's like, oh shit, yes, more. Like you're putting a damn puzzle together, but the pieces all come together to show an asshole. Alright. I don't know what you just said. Whose evil twin am I? And lo. I'll just say that Peaches is still a young adult. She's like, what? She's 24? There's a lot of space left for her to still grow and develop as a person. I don't like this idea that, like, it's over for her. And maybe that's just me, like, doing that stupid virtue signaling, but whatever. It's what I truly feel. Yeah. Not that it's not, like, in some way, like, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't in some way satisfying to see her kind of get this comeuppance that she's needed, but... It's not in the sense of, like, I want her to be hurt. I want her to actually learn from this. But anyway, I'll stop waxing poetic about that. And La is my evil twin. Oh. Like a like a video game or movie reviewer from the from the late 2000s. And yeah. To be honest, she should get the fuck away from Leo. I don't care what she and Leo do. I know people are constantly making their dumb speculations about like, oh, they must be dating or shit like that. It's like, I don't care. They can do whatever they want with each other. I don't care. I've said this before though, like I'm kind of hoping they move in together because they deserve each other. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, before I drone on for too long, I'm probably gonna call it. Because this is not one of my stream days. Say hi to Air. I gotta find a real background one of these points. If you want to see some of my dumb art on Twitter and me rent-freeing about Undertale shit, you can follow my Twitter. That's all I really do on Twitter, is that I just repost Undertale garbage. Streamlabs, also, I don't know if you saw, but I, like, way back in, like, October, I reacted to your Glitchtail video. I honestly really liked it. What I was saying back then is that, because I had never had any interest in Glitchtail before, like, all of this drama came out about the GTC. And, I just remember one of my former friends was like, dude, you should really watch Glitchtail. It's so good. And I watched one episode and I was like, I cannot stand another moment of this. But the idea of, like, all the extra added human characters and the, like, color-coded designs that they all had, it reminded me of a fanfic that I wrote when I was 13 and how I had OCs, more or less, that followed the exact same, like, motif, and I was just stunned. Your art is good, though? Thank you. I'm kind of slacking on it right now. I'm getting a little bit of artist block, but yeah, I'm starting to post more art on my Twitter, but it's mostly fandom garbage, so just be aware of that. I keep getting asked to make a reference sheet for my avatar, and I'm slacking on that too because of the brain rot. I apologize. Thank you. Oh my god, thanks. Oh my god, thank you for saying that my art is cute. Thought the video was entertaining. My lost sanity was not lost in vain. Yeah, no prob. Alright. Sorry, did I miss anything? I know that someone said that they wanted to say something. I might have missed it though. Oh, Zaj. Zaj, did you say what you wanted to say? No, you didn't. Oh wait, maybe you did. It's bad when a mod or admin leaves Senate server with not saying anything. Is that what you wanted to say? I can understand why. If people want to leave without any drama, I mean, you see how they treat the people who do get out and not quietly. So, it makes sense that a lot of them would want to leave quietly. I don't blame them for that. Yes, make a ref. I'm working on it. Alright. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll be back to my normal schedule on Friday. I have no idea what I'm gonna do on Friday, but if nothing else interesting happens, it'll probably be some more early morning story time with yours truly, told very poorly and not very organized. We're not owed their juicy drama. Okay. But I'm gonna say bye, guys, and can't wait for games, can't wait for yapping over video games. I'll see you guys Friday morning, same time as always. And again, thank you so much for watching, and also thank you Soul Emeralds for subscribing. And my cat wants to say hi. Mitzi, say hi! She says hi. Sorry, the mic didn't pick it up. Okay, sorry. I'll see you guys Friday. Goodbye!